How you doing, gentlemen? Today we're going to be looking at Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson and how these two men helped create the birth of the modern political parties in the United States. Now, the evolution of the American political parties, you could say that they've always been around, but just in context of where we are, beginning with the Revolutionary era, you have the two opposing sides over the Revolution. You have the Loyalists or the Tories versus the Patriots and the Rebels. Post-Revolution, during the Confederation era, you have the Federalists that rise up in support of a strong national government after the Articles of Confederation have shown that they are weak, versus the Anti-Federalists, who are still calling for the states having power, a weak central government, and the states maintaining the power that they wielded under the Articles of Confederation. And of course, this comes to a head during the ratification period of the Constitution. After the Constitution is ratified and our new government is established, you then have two opposing sides rising with the supporters of Alexander Hamilton, or the Hamiltonians. They were taking the stance of a strong, big government, where you then have the Jeffersonians, followers of Thomas Jefferson, calling for a more states controlling their own destinies. Now, this all comes out, as I said, after the Constitution, ratification of the Constitution, and when the government is now forming. These two men are part of Washington's cabinet. Jefferson is the Secretary of State, where Hamilton is the Secretary of the Treasury. Now, on the side, I pointed out that Thomas Jefferson is the founder of the Republican Party, but not the one that we think of today, the far right, as you think, or the right, I should say. And the Hamiltonians do take the title of Federalists, but not the ones that we saw during the ratification process of the Constitution. They gather supporters, and this now creates those two political parties. Now, the Founding Fathers did not envision political parties in this new government. If you remember Federalist 10, written by James Madison, he talks about factions and how this new Constitution would prevent factions from rising and gaining power. This is something that he was trying to talk about, where he thought that under this Constitution, everybody would work together for a common good. But of course, like humans, we have opposing opinions, and these opinions then started to, especially about government, started to form in about how the government should work, and that's where you then have the Hamiltonians and Jeffersonians. Now, the Federalists, they believe that the government should be run by educated, wealthy. Hamilton did not trust men. He is a great example of Thomas Hobbes' philosophy that if men left to their vices would just run amok. So he believed that the government should be there to guide the people. So he supported a very strong central government, and he also, because he is, of course, the Secretary of the Treasury, and a brilliant mind, he thought that the government should encourage business, promote business. I mean, by the time he was 13, he was practically running a shipping company out of the Caribbean, where he was living. So I mean, this guy's been in it for a while. So he thought that government should promote business and that we should just be, that America was primed for to become one of the greatest and wealthiest countries in the world. He was also pro-British foreign policy. He felt that we should recreate that connection with the British, especially trading partners. Now, this was actually one of the reasons why he got that knock of being a monarchist, but it's not true. He was not for a monarchy, but he did think that the British model was a good one, especially when it comes to business. And down there on the side, you can read the quote for yourself. That kind of gives you an idea of Hamilton's view of people. Where on the flip side, you then have the Jeffersonians. Jefferson believed that the people should have the power and the ability to make their own decisions. He did believe that people should make educated decisions. As we remember when we were covering the Enlightenment thinkers and we looked at Thomas Jefferson, Jefferson was a big proponent about education and that all people should have the ability to be educated in order to make those important decisions. So he believed that if people were educated, they then could make the decisions for the government, and the government did not have to make the decisions for them. So his belief was that the best government, is the one that governs the least. And you could recall who else said that throughout history. He also believed that the economy and that American society should remain agrarian, meaning farmers. And that goes back to that whole idea of individuality, people doing it themselves, doing for themselves. He believed the values of a farmer were perfect for the American spirit. And he was also pro-French. That also kind of leans into that whole idea of that Enlightenment. They're thinkers. They're speaking about those Enlightenment viewpoints. He was also the Secretary of State and staying in France during the early portions of the Revolution. So he's bringing that into it. And then on the side again, another little quote to kind of put you in the mindset of where Jefferson was coming from. And what he believed his duty was. Now that's, of course, after he was elected president in 1800, but we'll talk about that later. Now, looking into the future of America, this is just to give you an example of what Hamilton and Jefferson thought. Jefferson, over there on the left, believed that that's what the United States should look like, just sprawling, open farmland. Everybody was a farmer. Everybody worked for themselves. Everybody controlled their own destiny. Where on the flip side, you have Hamilton believing that cities are where the money was, and that those cities should rise up, and America should just be one big series of cities that traded with one another and interacted with one another. So, just taking that into account and thinking about where they were, that's going to tell you their stance, and of course their major arguments they were polar opposites. So when you got these guys together, it was sparks were flying. So we'll look at how Washington and Adams kind of kept these guys in check and kept them from really starting some trouble. So your assignment, what we want to do is there is a document attached to this post on iTunes U called Jefferson versus Hamilton, or Group Hug. Please read that assignment, and then on a separate piece of paper, please give me what you feel the best argument was, and then which prediction of the future of America was correct, either Hamilton's or Jefferson's. Make sure you cite specific examples. right, have a great night.